Hello and a very warm welcome to all the viewers and listeners of Zero Filter podcast. Today we have with us Ananth Rangarajan, who is leading product strategy and growth at Jio, who has experience across various companies like Flipkart, Swiggy, Ajio, leading key business initiatives. Ananth is an angel investor as well, who started his career initially at Mercedes-Benz at the shop floor. Glad to have you here, Ananth.
Thanks a lot, Prince, for calling me in. Excited to have this conversation with you today.
Great, great. Excited to have some interesting discussions on various updates that are going on in the career segment and about startups and various aspects of life and profession. Anand, I would first of all like to start uh, by asking a bit about your journey. Like you started as an engineer, and how did this shift from engineering background to tech leadership happen? Did it involve some sort of planning? Uh,
Mhm.
did you work hard for it? What was the relevance of working hard in it? A bit about that, if you could reflect.
Yeah, thanks, Prince. So I took up, I studied industrial engineering because I really like manufacturing operations. The nuts and bolts of, say, how things are built and all of that. I was very fortunate to land a job through my placements in my engineering college at Mercedes-Benz, where I was responsible for shop floor operations, right, building cars, taking care of, heading a team of about 150 odd boys and men who were, I would say, executives or factory workers. So uh, at that moment, I realized that, hey, you know what, the strength for me, while it is technical, and I derive a certain amount of joy in building the car, but I get a larger kick in being able to bring together people to be able to do it smoothly, right? So I discovered that, hey, you know what, leadership comes a little naturally to me, so let me explore that further. Right, so that's why I decided to not go down the technical route and do, say, an MS or something like that, and rather do a MBA. So I went to ISB, did my MBA, and after that landed at Flipkart. um, so kind of the transfer to a product or a tech or a consumer tech domain starts from there for me. uh, at, so here's where I discovered that, hey, you know what, the organization is very diverse. There are all kinds of departments, the strategy, product, finance, I would say, marketplace, and then there's the CEO and his office, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of value in being able to sort of, whenever you have an idea or when you're chasing, say, a specific metric, or you're trying to solve a big problem, you need to sort of make sure that, first of all, you define the North Star, and kind of lay down the groundwork to sort of go reach that North Star. But you also have to sort of bring together the people, align them. Everybody has to believe that, hey, this is the North Star, and like how you are saying is how we go ahead and do it. All right. So once again, I kind of discovered that my ability to be able to define that North Star in an ambiguous situation, and also bring together the entire room across levels, across departments and domains and all of that, to be able to get excited about that one goal and go hit it. Also is something which came to me, and also is something I liked doing. So that is something I would say, it's more of, being able to solve interesting, ambiguous, exciting problems for the Indian online customer, that has kept me and helped me grow in the Indian consumer tech landscape across companies like Flipkart, Swiggy, Ajio, and now Jio, and less of a, wanting to be in tech, uh, or that kind of thing. So yeah, so it's more of the leadership being the underlying force, is what I realize right now.
So, Anand, as you shared that you had some inclination towards leadership because of which this shift from tech background to leadership happened. लेकिन काफ़ी बार क्या होता है कि when we are planning our career, we
Mhm.
lay down various steps कि okay, this is going to be the first step, this is going to be the second step, then third step, and then I'll go there. लेकिन
Yeah.
जब उसमें थोड़ा बहुत चेंज करना होता है, then it sounds a bit challenging to people कि
Mm.
जैसा मैंने प्लान किया था वैसे चीज़ें नहीं हो रही हैं, the role which I
Mm.
targeted to get, I'm not able to get that. Uh,
Yeah.
how much of your transition from tech to leadership had this planning wala portion?
Zero.
Okay.
So I hardly planned for what I did next. All right. So, like you said, right, step one, two, three, four. Some people have a ladder for the next few years. I did not have as much. I don't have too much of it even right now, but I have guardrails, right, where not to go. What is the definition of unsuccess, right, or lack of success or a failure? Failure is a strong word, but what can define you as being unsuccessful from where you are currently? Something I think I fairly know. All right, or I know when it goes beyond these limits is when you are not doing that great is
Mhm.
what you should define. Everything else is great, all right, and is exciting. It I would say comes there are two ways I have been doing it. First of all, see, you have to be an optimist to be able to take this kind of a approach and say that, whatever happen, whatever be the day, whatever be the challenge thrown at me, I will think of that as a new opportunity, right?
Mhm.
Unless someone's going to come to you at your desk and say you're fired, go out in
Mhm.
an hour, right? Unless that is happening, everything is an opportunity, all right? Or it's a reflection of two things. That, hey, this is great. What can I do better in whatever has been given to me? It can be a problem which the organization is facing. It can be a crisis. It can be the project which you are working on and have thought about, between now and the next performance rating cycle as to a perfect, I would say, next set of things to achieve, and then we'll kind of ring the bells
Mhm.
in the review. But then some crises happen. How do you sort of disengage from your personal, I would say, what you have to gain from that,
Mhm.
and think of it from the point of view of, hey, great, you know what, the market is turned this way. COVID happened all of a sudden, right?
Mhm.
You can't meet your targets, too bad. So what can you do of this, right?
Mhm.
What happens? So it's like the World Cup final, right? We all remember in 2011, three wickets
Mhm.
went out of nowhere, right? But should the captain have thought, what, hey, let me come back in 4 years, he
Mhm.
wouldn't have been the captain in 4 years,
Mhm.
right? So it's there is another way to look at it, that, hey, you know what, this is reality, it's outside of my control. Now there is a challenge which is being thrown upon. How can
Mhm.
I quickly recalibrate and say, and refocus and say, what, this is the reality right now, right? It's
Mhm.
COVID, for example. People can't step out, or whatever. Or it is, say, at this point in time, say there is a crisis going on in West Asia, right? Some in all our lives, some kind of variables have been affected, right?
Mhm.
If nothing, then if you're planning a trip to that side of the hemisphere, it's not happening anytime soon, right? So all of those things, in a small way or large, is affecting you. So how do you recalibrate and say, what, hey, this is not my fault, but
Mhm.
this card has been dealt to me.
Mhm.
So how can I work with it? How do you appreciate the fact that, this is come to you? Yeah, आगे आपके पास.
Mhm.
है ना? You cannot say no to it and tell God, what, no, I don't like this card. The God is
Mhm.
a dealer. You can't tell him, give me another card. This is
Mhm.
fraud, right? You can't do that, right? So
Mhm.
what do I do with this? How can I play with this as the fact given to me, unchangeable fact,
Mhm.
right? So that is one. And second is, what, in terms of, like you said, right, step by step planning. I mean, I also dream of an ideal journey, but at the same time, for me, I am confident and comfortable as long as my next step is known to me, right?
Mhm.
It's like walking in the dark. I'm okay so long as the next step I'm taking is not in a ditch.
Mhm.
नेक्स्ट 2 स्टेप्स तक का मेरे पास लाइन ऑफ साइट है, उतना मेरा टॉर्च चलता है, मैं
Mhm.
उतना देखते चल रहा हूँ. इफ आई एम एबल टू सी अ पिट, आई कैन चेंज.
Mhm. Mhm.
तो अगर मैं गिरूंगा तो भी मेरी गलती है, ठीक है?
Mhm.
तो आई कैन सी द नेक्स्ट 2 स्टेप्स वर्थ ऑफ लैंड इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी, कि कहीं खाई तो नहीं है कहीं पे, या दीवार तो नहीं आ रहा,
Mhm.
एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. दैट मच इज वॉट, if is what I'm getting to play, and I think it's a fair game. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you're able to sort of see something not in your favor and still kind of going and banging your head on the wall, then yeah, then please take it on yourself. But
Mhm.
don't expect you to be able to have visibility for the next 5 kilometers, and then you start walking.
Mhm.
uh, if you have visibility only for the next 2 steps, right? From a professional sense, and so for someone like me, it is visibility for 1 quarter, or visibility for a month,
Mhm.
or in the worst case, at least for the next 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Okay, if that is something you have, you should not worry too much, or not kind of lose your calm. If
Mhm.
you're not having visibility, which happens, like the day the lockdown was announced, for
Mhm.
example, we did not know what happens, right? So at that time, you pause, right? Don't do them something silly, don't say silly, do not react or stuff like that. Just pause, just see what's happening, right? When the whole world is moving around you, the
Mhm.
safest thing is, you keep your hands to yourself and stay where you are.
Mhm.
All right. So then the things play out, and then you'll be able to understand, now what card has been dealt to you,
Mhm.
and how do you sort of make sense of it, and how do you play with it? Yeah,
Mhm. Okay,
that's
so
how I
with visibility of the next at least two steps would at least have help you move forward instead of
yeah,
planning everything in advance, which is indeed doesn't seem to be possible in today's dynamic age. Uh,
yeah.
and Anant, I would like to ask you about your initial journey when you started at Mercedes-Benz right
Mhm.
after the college, after passing out. There must have been situations in which there were things about which you were possibly not aware of because you were new at that particular brand, and given that it has so much prestige, uh, how did you overcome those challenges, possibly having to deal with even people who are more experienced than you?
Yeah.
What were you able to do in that particular moment so that you are able to get the work done along with not messing up with the existing structure there, given that you were
Yeah.
new that time?
See, so it was very interesting, right? So um, I would say first week on the job or first day on the job, I was said, you know what, you have to lead a team of about 115 or 120 odd, people who are going to manufacture, I think, the C-class sedan. And our targets, I think, were about less than 10 cars a day, something like that, and uh, I would say uh, very straightforward in terms of who does what, and what are the India being more of an assembly kind of plant, there isn't a ton load of variables happening here. So there's only so much which can say go wrong. So at the end of the day, that is the task, right? But Benz has very strict quality control standards. So even half
Mhm,
a millimeter things going here and there are are not allowed, and there are different stakeholders to manage. All right, so I had a team of so many people who wanted to do different things, right?
mhm,
Say, for example, one boy would say that, you know what, I've been fitting seats on the car for the last 3 months. I'm bored of that. Let me work on the engine, right?
mhm,
Now, I learned that, hey, you know what, when you have to change your station on which you're working, it takes about 2 weeks of training under already somebody who is working there. So,
mhm,
that person still works there. This person has to go and be with him, just to observe and train and, ask questions and maybe try to do it in front of him and show. So two
mhm,
weeks of I'm going to lose one person for 2 weeks. It's as good as having an absent from where he should be,
mhm,
right? Those kind of I would say moderate so-called challenges or situations arise in which you need to use your best judgment and say, you know what, hey, this, while I would have been happy if you wouldn't have asked me this, but then everybody has to grow and everybody wants to sort of see a change and all of that. So how can I accommodate this for someone who's asking me? Maybe if right now is not the right time, you should be able to say no, saying that, hey,
mhm,
today I have a lot of absenteeism in my team, so today is not a good day,
mhm,
but give me some time, a few days, and I'll come back to you and make sure that you learn the engine or whatever you want to learn.
mhm,
At the same time, I would say, uh, when it this that is my first job. So one of the things, which I was kind of going through was, hey, you know what, of course the brand halo kind of acts on you, saying that, hey, this is Mercedes-Benz, it's the best automobile out there, so everything is going to be ultra scrutinized and this and
mhm,
that and all of that, right? So that can build, and in my case, as a complete fresher, built a sense of sort of cold feet or inaction or uh, being too shy to sort of do things a little drastic.
mhm,
All right. So that is where you need to understand that, hey, you know what's the end goal? The end goal of the company is to make cars, so that customers get it. The car should be of a acceptable, very high quality level, which has been already outlined by the organization, and
mhm,
also, you should not have any extra costs coming in the way. People should not be sort of breaking the machinery while doing their job, or say there aren't any manpower issues and stuff like that.
mhm,
So there are 100 ways in which you can do this. All right. So as things went forward, I could get comfortable, talking to supervisors like me, as well
Mhm.
as knowing the team, and you be genuine with them, right? Hey, I came from college just about a week ago, a month ago. This is all I know, is what I learned. Then you speak your you connect with the folks, then they also understand, hey, you know what, this is my team leader, all right,
Mhm.
so I need to make sure he succeeds, right? Like, say there are senior operators or workers who would have been there for, like a good 2 decades,
Mhm.
uh, would be, and I would be very, though they were part of my team under me, but very clearly they are the seniors in the room who know much, much more than, I mean,
Mhm.
I was hardly 20 years of age, and their experience was 20. So, the they could understand that, hey, you know what, this person is okay to sort of learn from us. So
Mhm.
let me go ahead and, tell Anand that, hey, you know what, this is how this thing is done, or this is how we should deal with this problem, or in this kind of a situation, if I were you, I do this, or say some of the previous leaders did this and all of that. So I learned a lot, open communication channels with a lot of people, which stay with me till date.
Mhm.
Good friend, and connects, yeah, my team members from back in Mercedes.
Mhm.
If they come to Bangalore, they still visit me. At this point, so that there was a lot of exchange of trust more than anything else, which
Mhm.
then leads to exchange of knowledge, exchange of, when you can know each other's intent,
Mhm.
then trust starts building. And when that is constant, you're not breaching it, right? By doing something silly, um, then that kind of compounds very fast.
Mhm.
All right. It can be, if I'm asking something of them, hey, we need to make 2 cars extra today, which is a little bit of a stretch, but can you do it for me? Once in a while, people will do it for me, right? At the
Mhm.
same time, if there are, say, lesser people, there is a lot of absenteeism, there's a festival happening or something like that, and you want people to sort of, double hat, or you want them to sort of take up extra responsibilities, people will do it for you, right?
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, that is trust. Trust would kind of work in your way. um, at the same time, I would say, for me, one of the things which I learned after a few months on the shop floor was that, hey, I learned a lot about manufacturing and operations when I was in college. I even published research papers,
Mhm.
and went outside of India, presented them, did all of that.
Mhm.
But in all honesty, in the real world, when you come on the factory floor, when you come on the assembly line, um, the things that matter, and the things that actually end up working, or not working, are things you cannot scientifically, I would say, capture or calculate, or
Mhm.
put out there in a framework. All right, so to understand that is most important, and that is one of the reasons why, after knowing the science of it, or being excited by the science of operations so much,
Mhm.
and landing into a shop floor, it is, the I would say the science of, uh, I would say, leadership or human relations,
Mhm.
which kind of only took over, or excited me even more, and helped me sort of pursue a more leadership like journey, as compared to a more technical one. So yeah, that's the long answer, Prince.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I think you explained it in a very nice manner as to how this transition from college life to the first job at the corporate happened. Somebody who is just going to pass out from the college is going to be entering a totally new environment in which they're not, let's say, experienced. They're not sure how the things are going to be unfolding in the future. Uh, what is one core thing that anybody who is afraid of this transition happening should keep in their mind, so that once they are actually entering into the corporate, they are successful in the new environment, instead of worrying about it or thinking what other people are going to be thinking about me, which is going to lead to stress. So what would you suggest to
Mhm.
somebody who is going to be entering this uh, you know uh,
So, Prince, sorry,
new.
can you repeat that question? I think my internet blipped a bit. So, can you just repeat that question for me?
Okay, yeah, yeah, sure. So somebody who is going to be just, let's say, passing out from the college after completing their studies,
Hmm.
corporate is a very new environment for them. They're not aware of
Yeah.
how the things are going to be unfolding, which leads to a lot of
Mhm.
stress, fear, anxiety. How am I going to be getting the work done? will I be able to
Yeah.
succeed in that unknown environment or not? That fear of
Yeah.
unknown is there. What is one core thing
Yeah.
that somebody shall keep in their mind while being in that situation of transitioning from academic life to the corporate life?
Yeah. See, that fear of unknown is there with leaders like me as well, even today, when we say change organizations or in personal life, right? When we go to a new apartment complex and start living there, you don't know how your neighbors are going to treat you, right? So it's the same kind of fear of unknown. Or say when you know, when you move cities with your family, we don't know how it's going to work for you, right? The unknown, the fear of unknown is is similar to that. So to all students, I would say, and it's easier for me to say, but then be with me on this. I would like to say that you know. um don't worry about who you are at this point in terms of what you accomplished or what you could not accomplish in college, stuff like that. All that is has been nicely sealed into a single, I would say, personality which presents itself as you when you go to the office. You are this person who is a fresher, all right, and who has come in to do say this work, all right.
Mhm,
Now what you need to understand is both for yourself and for the organization. The first thing which is different between student life and life in a company or an organization um, is as a student, you work for yourself.
mhm,
As a student, your success is important. All right.
mhm,
A student has its elements and opportunities of team play, but it's an individualistic goal. All right.
mhm,
You're fighting your fight, all right,
mhm,
as a student. As an organization, you all are fighting the organization's fight.
mhm,
You are trying to meet the organization's goal, all right. Think of it as a it's like a tennis player, cricket player thing, right? The tennis player is tennis is an individual game,
mhm,
all right. um, it's not 10 people playing, maybe unless it's Davis Cup or something. But then um, Rafael Nadal is Rafael Nadal first,
mhm,
and he's Team Spain later.
mhm,
All right. So um it's all focused on yourself, your vulnerabilities, your strengths, your success. Your success becomes the success of say the team you represent. Just like, say for example, if you win the university gold medal when you are in your college, the college will also talk proudly about you,
mhm,
right? That way. But in an organization, you are like, say, one cricketer in a cricket team,
mhm,
all right. Your individual success will contribute towards the larger success of a team,
mhm,
but your individual success need not mean that the team will also be eventually successful.
mhm,
Okay. So you need to understand that, hey, while individual success will help you highlight yourself in the organization,
mhm,
okay, it's very important for you to understand that, hey, how can my individual success contribute to the overall success of the organization, and not
mhm,
just be obsessed about individual success, because that is how you come tuned in as a student.
mhm,
All right. So in simple terms, first understand what are the priorities in the organization. Figure out people who are okay to speak to you. Not everybody would be. They all have. Everybody is at a different walk in life. Do understand? It's not like college. It's not homogeneous. People are going through different phases of life or going through different things personally. You need to be in office only so many hours a day, right? So there are multiple things happening in people's lives. So everybody, both professionally and personally,
mhm,
all right. So they all might not receive you in the right way. So for some people, you might not mean anything. For some people, you might be seen as a unwanted person. But for a lot of people, you might also be like, hey, you know what? Great, let me bring this person up to speed so that they can start delivering effectively as well.
mhm,
So identify your people, at least to start with. Already the others will come around as you, start demonstrating yourself, is what I'd
mhm,
like to put it. So first thing is start talking, start understanding within your team allotted to you, or and beyond cross functionally, that hey, what are the priorities for the organization, what are the issues currently going on, what is everyone talking about, what is the most important thing out there. For example, in Flipkart, one of the most important things as soon as I landed was, in 3 months there is going to be the big billion day. Everything else comes later. Let's solve for big billion day. All right. um, so something like that, right? So you kind of are tuned into the priorities, the emergencies, and the mode of the company at that point in time.
Mhm.
Without doing that, you can't do anything, right?
Mhm.
So that is important. Second is, once you've understood that, then you kind of try to connect between what you have been given to do and how that contributes to this larger priority for the organization, which everybody is talking about, right? So
Mhm.
what I've been given to do maybe might be operations management role or something like that at Flipkart when I joined, operations design or something, and how does that impact Big Billion
Mhm.
Day, right? And what are my targets, or what do you think is a success for this role in the Big Billion Day context, right?
Mhm.
Is how I should ask,
Mhm.
if I may, right? All the students should also look at. Do not
Mhm.
look at it from a two, again, like I said, 4 years, 2 years, 5 years, mat dekho, right? Look
Mhm.
at it from only the next 3 months to 6 months. How can you get smoothly into the organization? Okay, then this is the task. This is the most important milestone for the organization for in
Mhm.
the immediate term. How can I blend in, or how can I contribute to it, or like how can I not damage it? Is the making sure that these things are delivered properly, which is in my control.
Mhm.
Then your task is understood, right?
Mhm.
And then you start working towards it. You have everything you need. If you don't, you ask around for all the tools and, I would say, resources, whatever you need, and help you need to understand things and start delivering. So once that happens, do understand, hey, you know what, how can I do this better, or
Mhm.
can I do more than what I'm doing, right? If I'm able to do whatever has been given to me in a satisfactory amount of way, you it is prudent, and do not, and this is where a lot of us say that, what, I'll work only for whatever I am paid and all of that. I really kind of hate that kind of thinking, because if everything had a money value, then life would be dangerously different. All right, so I would say, if you're able to deliver, on what has been given to you, and usually for students coming into the professional line for the first time, what would be given to you would be pretty, straightforward, because they wouldn't risk you with too many responsibilities, right? So once
Mhm.
you're confident, again, not to become the hero in the room, but once you are confident that, hey, this is something which I can do let it known that, hey, I can do something more as well. Okay.
Mhm.
And then your organization understand that, hey, there is intent. Now this
Mhm.
person wants to at least do more, or at least wants to be involved in more discussions, or
Mhm.
more decision making, or whatever it is. And that is how you grow, right?
Mhm.
That's how you meet people. Like, for example, if I was doing operations in Big Billion Day, hypothetically, let us say, if I did a good job and I said, hey, I want to sort of be in more rooms, I think I can do more, then see, there are lesser people. There's all manpower is always a constant. People will
Mhm.
be like, acha, theek hai, what can I give him more, right? And say, if I am a part of, say, one or two more discussions,
Mhm.
now that can be around, um, if I was, say, handling mobile phone supply chain, and then I become a part of discussions of FMCG, which involves
Mhm.
the temperature control, storage, first in, first out, expiry date being an issue, then I learn new things that, hey, what are the problems going on? Samne wale ghar mein kya problem?
Mhm.
Right? Then they kind of understand it from, it's not get obsessed by what is given to you and that alone, but what
Mhm.
else is going on. That's how a leader grows. A leader goes always upwards, right? If at your level there are 20 people, when you're able to understand, apart from your problem, what are their problems, how are they doing it, how you can do it better, or how can you at least empathize with them and
Mhm.
support them in their current role, only then you can go to the one level above, right?
Mhm.
Because then all those people become your reportees.
Mhm.
And that is how you start, first of all, identifying, understanding the environment, and I would say start fitting in. So as a
Mhm.
student, I think that itself is will be a very exciting journey.
Mhm.
And again, what I would say is, do not center it around yourself. You are not the center of things, when you get into an organization. Whereas in a college, you pay the fees, right? So you
Mhm.
are pampered, you are the student. So long as you're doing well, you have opportunity. You can put your hand up and organize an event. You can put your hand up and, go play a sport for your college, etc., etc. In the corporate world, the goals and priorities of the organization are central, right? So long
Mhm.
as you're able to touch, influence them, the organization will take you along. But do
Mhm.
understand, it's much more complicated than a college environment, because it has a lot of people all coming from different walks of life,
Mhm.
different stages of life, okay, and all trying to sort of pretty much do the same thing,
Mhm.
all right, which is basically add value to the organization. So you need to understand that, and not misconstrue things as, you know what, hey, he is like that, she's like this, and this and that, and all that. Get bogged down by all that nonsense.
Mhm.
But like I said, right, understand the people, understand the organization's goals, see how what has been given to you contributes to that work. You should be able to see the connection, all right? Otherwise, otherwise it's there is no meaning, all
Mhm.
right? So how whatever small task you've been given, how does that contribute to the larger goal? It should be clear to you.
Mhm.
Okay, if not, find that clarity.
Mhm.
And once that is there,
Mhm.
once you're able to get a grip on it, please start looking outward and start understanding more problem statements, what others are doing and all of that, while
Mhm.
not losing grip on what you're doing.
Mhm. I think that's a very smart way to transition from your academic life to the corporate life, not
Yeah.
considering yourself at the center of the attention, which happens in the college because we have paid the fees, we'll be getting all the facilities, we'll be getting the guidance, requirements, mentorship, etc. Whereas here we'll have to chase things by ourselves. We'll have to figure out who the relevant people are to whom we should be speaking and communicating. Another question which often is a very widely discussed topic is, once we pass out, there are two
Mhm.
options: either we become entrepreneurs or we go into the corporate for a job. So Anand, since you have been an angel investor, you are an angel investor, what do you think often is the reason of startups failing a lot? Because there is a big percentage of startups failing in India and across the world as well. And I think it is very easy to add that tag like CEO at a certain company, create a website, create a brand, but
Mhm.
following through and actually creating it into something that is meaningful, impacting, and able to generate the revenue. What is the
Yeah.
core of it that leads to some failure, and how can that be overcome?
All right. Thanks, Vince. So see, again, this is answering this from a student or an early jobber perspective. All right. Before anything else, you need to understand that by default, all right. Um, Whenever you start something out there in the market, like a business, you you have a very high probability of things failing. All right, that is, in a lot of startups, the ones we see, even the ones we see succeed for a short time and then fail, are again are also the, I would say, the luckier ones of the pack. All right, there are so many registered startups. If you go to the data and see how many people are registered for the GST, as compared to how many people actually file and are successful and actually able to sort of deliver huge numbers, there will be a huge gap, right?
Mhm.
So when you are looking at, um, you know and when you look at something like a Shark Tank or whatever, you understand that people are less and the successful ones are less taken into by the glamour of it. All right, the CEO is not a big title. All right. For a country which is developing at 8+% and industrializing so fast and is going to be the economic the engine of the world, most of us will end up having that title.
Mhm.
All right. Because so many opportunities will come.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's not, in India, once again, right? You need, again, let's not get dragged in by the materialistics of it,
Mhm.
of a CEO, say business class flight, white Mercedes-Benz, etc., 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 etc. Let's not get dragged down by that. They might happen to you. Things become successful. Even if things are successful, you would not like to go do those materialistic things. Your interest may life elsewhere. Just chase that, right? So there is no straight jacket definition of say success, if you start your own thing. So coming back, why things fail is because, first thing is, by design, it is, a lot of things are, or the probability of things failing when you start something are very high, right? So you should go in with that thought, number one. Number two is, a lot of startups are designed in a bad way, or I would say they approach the problem in a bad way, or they haven't identified a problem, or their reason for starting up might also be very myopic.
Mhm.
All right, they want to start up, run something for 2 years, and then sell it off to some company. Right? Things don't work like that.
Mhm.
Okay. So say, all the successful companies in India, right? It can be Adani, Reliance, it can be Godrej, it can be the Tatas, Mahindra, everything. should they have thought about things like that, that I'll do well and sell it off to an American MNC, India would not have a success story today,
Mhm.
right? So that's a wrong way of looking at it. Like, so I would say, do not look at you becoming the richest man in India or the world, but if you have identified a problem statement, let's look at that simple use case of a neighborhood, a medical store.
Mhm.
It's usually run by a neighborhood mohalle ka aadmi only, right?
Mhm.
So who we all know in, say, in residential areas around the country, is
Mhm.
what I'm saying. Not completely new residential townships like, say, Greater Noida or something like that. But in, say, in Old Delhi, in Greater Mumbai, in Bangalore where I live, etc., etc. It's usually a localite who will come by and start a general store, start a I would say a medical shop, etc., etc.
Mhm.
What's the idea of that person, right? यहाँ पे there is a gap, you know there are so many people living in this locality, and then there are 1 or 2 or 3 residential buildings coming up. All right, school bhi aa raha hai, अस्पताल भी आ रहा है. Economically, this part of town is booming because people are getting jobs in IT. Some companies have come and invested in IT parks very close by. So overall, situation बेहतर होता जा रहा है. तो
Mhm.
बट हमारे आसपास में there is basic, which means the number of people here will also increase, but there isn't a, say, a shop where you can go and buy something like a Crosin or a Dolo or a
Mhm.
or a Vicks. ऐसे चल के आके नहीं ले सकते आप. तो बंदे ने गैप देख लिया कि there is a gap, all right, and then he was like, hey, can I be that person who starts it?
Mhm.
इसमें मैं आई एम ट्राइंग टू सॉल्व अ गैप प्रेजेंट इन माय वर्ल्ड व्यू ऑफ, मेरी जो दुनिया है उसके अंदर का मैं एक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ.
Mhm.
इस अगर आप ढंग से सॉल्व करोगे तो आपकी भलाई होगी.
Mhm.
Which means you will, if you put the shop well, if you're making sure that it takes care of every medicine related need, and medicine and whatever nutrition, nutraceuticals, this that etc etc वाला need पूरा आपने टेक केयर कर लिया, देन आप इतना अच्छा धंधा चलाओगे, आपकी दुकान एक्सपैंड भी हो जाएगी कि और किसी को आने की जरूरत ही नहीं वहाँ पे, बिकॉज देयर विल बी नो बिजनेस मॉडल फॉर समवन एल्स टू कम,
Mhm.
राइट. विच मीन्स यू आर डोमिनेटिंग. फिर
Mhm.
आप ही का नाम रहेगा, किसकी दुकान है, ये तो प्रिंस की दुकान, राइट? वहाँ
Mhm.
से ले लो यार, और कहाँ से क्यों ले रहे हो, राइट?
Mhm.
पीपल विल लाइक ऑनलाइन भी आ गया, बट क्या हुआ, प्रिंस के लड़के डिलीवर करते हैं 2 मिनट में, है
Mhm.
ना? तो all that has also happened, right? So now that is how, when you have identified a problem, are being modest कि भाई मुझे बिल गेट्स नहीं बनना, बट
Mhm.
मेरे को पता है कि मेरे मोहल्ले में मेडिकल की शॉप नहीं है. I see an opportunity. I have
Mhm.
asked people, and they also trust कि आपने शुरू किया तो we will definitely kind of buy from you. And also we also know कि भाई इसमें सक्सेस होने की क्या बेसिक्स हैं. I cannot fool around. मेरे को सही दवाई रखने हैं. I have to make sure that I am, if I am not a pharma educated person, मेरे को किसी ने बीफान किया हुआ बिठाना पड़ेगा.
Mhm.
जो कोई रैंडम आदमी आ जाएगा, सर दुख रहा है कुछ दे दो मुझे, राइट?
Mhm.
यही होता है मेडिकल की शॉप में, है ना?
Mhm.
देन यू हैव टू गिव दैट पर्सन अ साड़ी डाउन और समथिंग. तो ये हो जाना चाहिए. आपकी एक्सपायरी डेट वाला आपका सिचुएशन सही होना चाहिए, ठीक है? एंड ओवरऑल you should make sure that you have a wide range of everything, right
Mhm.
from say for old age people, for pregnant ladies,
Mhm.
for men, women, youngsters, kids, infants. आपके पास सब कुछ है तो आपका धंधा अच्छा चलेगा. दैट इज यू. आपने यहाँ से आपको सीईओ बनने की पड़ी है, इसमें नहीं पड़ी,
Mhm.
है ना? इट इज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे, इट इज कि यार प्रिंस का दुकान है, यहाँ सब मिल जाएगा, राइट? और इफ यू टेल हिम कोई बहुत क्या कहते हैं, रेयर दवाई भी है तो वो 2 दिन में ले आता है,
Mhm.
राइट? So then you build a reputation. I'm saying you took a problem which is genuine, which is
Mhm.
part of your microcosm, your world, okay? And then you put a very earnest and honest effort into solving it,
Mhm.
है ना? Then you took your people along and said कि भाई अकेले कर रहा हूँ, don't leave my hand on this, but I will come good on whatever I am supposed to do.
Mhm.
Then they will be with you, you are with them, right? Now that happens at a national scale. That is how these companies get built and stay, right?
Mhm.
ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, आप समझो एक खुल गया, देन आप बोल रहे हो कि यार बहुत बड़ा टाउनशिप बन गया, आई नीड टू हैव एटलीस्ट 2 3, है ना?
Mhm.
देन आप यू कैन स्लोली एक्सपैंड विद यू फिजिकली नॉट बीइंग देयर एज वेल. अगर आपने अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर ना एक कल्चर डाल दी कि
Mhm.
आपका सेम नाम, ब्रांड नेम और होगा, बट ओवरऑल कल्चर विल बी द सेम, राइट? हमेशा आप बिलियन बिल दोगे, या फिर
Mhm.
योर बॉयज विल speak to people politely, and etc etc, all of that is happening. Then वी नो दैट कि हाँ यार, इफ इट इज प्रिंस मेडिकल्स तो हमको पता है कि कॉन्फिडेंस है, यहाँ से ले लेते हैं, वी विल नॉट बाई इट ऑनलाइन और वी विल नॉट गो टू अनदर शॉप, right? So
Mhm.
that is how trust gets built. It takes time,
Mhm.
right? So I would say, coming back to your question, if we are able to identify problems and with all honesty
Mhm.
and it's very important to be modest, all right? कि भाई ये problem है, हमको पता है कि हम risk ले रहे हैं,
Mhm.
but the returns are also high. Okay, it's not about copy pasting something from China. It's not about US हम जाके आएगा, ये बहुत सही चीज़ है, हम यहाँ भी लगा देते हैं, लोग खरीद
Mhm.
लेंगे, you know. So those things are trending things जो है ना,
Mhm.
will work for a year, work for 8 months, but उसका अगला ट्रेंड आ जाएगा, है ना? माचा
Mhm.
ट्रेंड इज गोइंग ऑन, द नेक्स्ट थिंग विल कम वेरी सून, है ना?
Mhm.
तो आपने बिना सोचे समझे आपने माचा बार खोल दिया एक,
Mhm.
या माचा आउटलेट खोल दिया, तो यू नीड टू मेक श्योर कि भाई दिस कैन गो आउट ऑफ बिजनेस एनी टाइम.
Mhm.
If you are not very tuned into the fact that you in it for selling matcha, or are you here to sort of provide trending say food and beverage alternatives to the millennials and the Gen Zs and the alphas,
Mhm.
तो क्या प्रोपोजिशन सोच रहे हो आप माचा को ही चिपक कर रह जाओगे तो नहीं बचेगा कुछ,
Mhm.
right? So that is how it is, right? So you, so long as you're able to sort of be uh, very true to the problem statement, it resonates with you,
Mhm.
right? Uh, and you are saying that, hey, you know what, I think I can solve this, and utna hi goal hai mera, right? Um, I don't want to worry about the 5 year plan or 10 year plan, but this is something I can do it, right?
Mhm.
इसके बाद this is my success for the first year कि मेडिकल की दुकान खुल जाए, people start coming and I am being of value to this neighborhood, इतना ही चाहिए अपने
Mhm.
को, वहाँ से आगे का, right? So if you're able to define that much and go and be modest about it, है ना? नहीं बनेंगे करोड़ रुपए आपके, करोड़ों रुपए भी नहीं बनेंगे, शायद आपका ब्रेक इवन भी होगा नहीं 2-3 साल के लिए, but if
Mhm.
you're at it, you have to be persistent, in these things. Only then things happen. The thing is, why do startups fail? Number one, by design.
Mhm.
A startup is, I wouldn't say it is supposed to fail, but then by design, be ready for failure, because the chance of failure is high.
Mhm.
Because you're doing something bold, है ना? वरना उसको स्टार्टअप नहीं बोलते, वरना उसको ऐसे ही मतलब
Mhm.
आई कैन ऑल्सो स्टार्ट से चाय की दुकान मैं शुरू कर दूँ, उसको स्टार्टअप
Mhm.
क्यों नहीं बोलते?
Mhm.
तो आपको पता है इस चीज़ की डिमांड है
Mhm.
ना? अब अगल-बगल में 2 चाय की दुकान नहीं डालो, तो थोड़ा स्पेस आउट भी कर दो, दोनों चल जाएँगे।
Mhm.
एंड देन द डिमांड फॉर चाय इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू गो एनीवेयर, इट्स गोना
Mhm.
बी देयर, है ना? तो वो तो चलेगा, सो लॉन्ग एज़ क्वालिटी है, प्राइसिंग है, आपकी अवेलेबिलिटी है, और उतने
Mhm.
टाइम के लिए खुले हो, है ना? साफ-सफाई है, तो हो जाएगा, राइट? दैट इज़ नॉट सीन एज़ अ स्टार्टअप, राइट? दैट्स
Mhm.
अ बिज़नेस। और अगर आप बोल रहे हो कि नहीं, से आई विल स्टार्ट समथिंग इन अ वे, मैं ब्यूटी पर्सन केयर में कुछ स्टार्ट करूँगा, या फिर मैं फ़िटनेस में कुछ स्टार्ट करूँगा, या फिर मैं वुमेन्स एक्सेसरीज़ अपैरल में कुछ स्टार्ट करूँगा, या
Mhm.
फिर हेल्दी ईटिंग में कुछ स्टार्ट करूँगा। अगेन यू आर टेकिंग अ बोल्ड रिस्क एट द एंड ऑफ द डे, राइट?
Mhm.
Startup is about doing something new, right?
Mhm.
So the risk of failure is always there, है ना? So be ready for failure, be ready to pivot. At the same time, be modest, have your core problem statement ready. आप उसको सॉल्व कर रहे हो, आप बंद हुए कंपनी का सीईओ बनने में अगर इंटरेस्ट है तो बने रहो, बट
Mhm.
आई वुड be ready to solve that problem and define your successes, all right? And those has to be very core successes. Now people get um, I wouldn't say distracted, but there's a lot of pressure from investors and from being able to raise capital, and all that is true. Someone who's able to juggle all of it well uh, is only kind of comes through, right? We are a hyper competitive country anyways.
Mhm.
But yeah, right, long answer. That's how I would define, say, why do startups fail, and also how do you calibrate yourself to think of starting a business.
Mhm. So I think multiple times you have focused on the word being modest, because it starts with a very flashy idea in the mind. It all looks very attractive when we write as CEO on LinkedIn bio, and
Yeah.
when we incorporate a company or when we start with a website that is fancy, it all looks very attractive, unless and
Mm.
until it actually is starting to solve some real problems. So it is like you have to
Yeah.
start from the bottom of the pyramid instead of starting on the top and then going to the
Correct.
bottom. Because what often happens is in discussions, like students, professionals, that we want to start something of our own, let's do some research on what are the trendy ideas, and then we can
Mm.
create a startup, then we can create a company. uh,
Yeah.
and because of which probably at the core, by default, the chances of failure
Yeah.
company which is new is very high. uh, and Anand, given that regarding career discussions, a lot which is going on in the market today, especially
Mm-hmm.
about artificial intelligence. Like recently, a
Yeah.
news came out from Oracle that 30,000 people were
Mm-hmm.
laid off instantly.
Mm-hmm.
This is expected to happen. Like big companies, CEOs, CFOs have started making statements ki, will not be requiring the junior level analyst roles, or let's say, the uh, AI is going to be replacing a lot of jobs, because of which there is fear among students who are going to be passing out in a year or two कि
Yeah.
हमारा क्या होगा, like in the market what is going to be the dynamic now, what are the skills that we are supposed to be knowing in different domains.
Yeah.
So if you could
Mm.
throw some light on that, like what exactly is happening in the corporate, like is AI
Yeah.
starting to actually replace the people's tasks, and to what extent can somebody adapt and ensure that it doesn't happen to them.
Yeah. See, let me, and I recently did a masterclass, for business leaders in how do they sort of look at artificial intelligence? How do they look at, baking it into their lives and into their work lives? One of the things I laid emphasis on over there, all right, is what I'd like to touch upon here as well. Now, why do you look at something like this in a fearful way? All right, you would look at it in a fearful way only when you are either of two, right? Whatever is this AI thing is not available to you. So you are saying, I am afraid because the world is going to become unfair. उसके पास होगा मेरे पास नहीं होगा, अगर ऐसा है तो आपने डरना चाहिए. ठीक है, नंबर वन. नंबर टू, you are too comfortable with where you are, right? That is also a situation where you would be suddenly be afraid when change is coming.
Mhm,
All right. Now, for all, I would say, uh, everybody, right? Especially people who are in institutes, in colleges, in schools as well as people who are, across their professional journey. I'd like you to understand that please acknowledge artificial intelligence.
mhm,
All right. Someone who says this is not for me, or my job is not affected by this, um, is worst case might lose their job. Best
mhm,
case might be very inefficient at their job, even if it cannot be replaced by AI, right?
mhm,
In both cases, आपका भला नहीं हो रहा,
mhm,
right? Let's look at life 26, 27 years ago, when बैंकों में ना पहले बार कंप्यूटर आया था,
mhm,
not even 30 years ago, right? Late 90s, when the state banks of the world, said कि we're moving from ledgers and stuff to कंप्यूटर सेंट्रलाइज्ड बैंकिंग सिस्टम CBS, राइट? आपने बॉम्बे में चेक दिया तो मैंने आज, तो आप पे कल दिल्ली में क्लियरिंग में कल हो जाएगा, राइट?
mhm,
which is to take time in the past, right? There was no NEFT, there was no inventory, right?
mhm,
But that came. Now think about, but that entire banking staff across all, did any bank close down because बाकी सारे बैंक कंप्यूटराइज हो गए? नहीं हुआ. पूरा का
mhm,
पूरा इंडिया का बैंकिंग सिस्टम ऑनलाइन हो गया,
mhm,
है ना? उसके बाद केम द, आई वुड से, द होल स्टॉक मार्केट गेटिंग ऑनलाइन, राइट? डीमैट आ गया आपके पास, है ना?
mhm,
वरना आईपीओ के लिए आपको लेटर में आता था फॉर्म, आप भर
mhm,
देते थे, फिर अलॉटमेंट हुआ कि नहीं होगा, इफेक्टिव आ थी, राइट?
mhm,
आई एम सेइंग नाउ एवरीथिंग इज हैपनिंग ऑन योर फोन. आप
mhm,
लैपटॉप भी नहीं खोलते, है ना? Did anybody lose business because of this? No, right? Who ended up becoming the fool in this? The person who said, मुझे नहीं पता ये, I don't care, this technology is not here to stay.
mhm,
Okay. Third thing is UPI. I know UPI is a more recent thing, 5 7
mhm,
years, right? So ये time पे once again there might be people or businesses or even individuals who will say कि no, I will not take payment by, let's say you are the same medical shop,
mhm,
ठीक है, जिसकी हमने बात करी. आप बोल रहे हो कि यार यूपीआई आ गया मगर हम नहीं लेंगे, है
mhm,
ना? कोई रीजन नहीं है, कोई जस्टिफाइड रीजन नहीं है, राइट? यू आर जस्ट अवर्स टू दैट टेक्नोलॉजी और एनीथिंग डिजिटल, है ना? तो हमको इसी बारे में समझना नहीं है, हम लेंगे नहीं, जो भी है आप कैश दोगे, ठीक है?
mhm,
देन दैट्स द बेस्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर समवन टू ओपन अ शॉप राइट इन फ्रंट ऑफ योर्स
mhm,
एंड टेक अवे ऑल योर बिजनेस, है ना? So at the end of the day, think about AI as that, all right? In technological terms, all right, it is here to sort of, it is a big disruptive moment, okay? It's not limited to say only one aspect of life. Like UPI used to take care of only payments, and still it has had such a big impact in life.
Mhm.
All right, now this touches all aspects of our lives,
Mhm.
or can touch all aspects of our life, and it will start influencing. Right. So from that perspective, um, now once again, the advice I give to young
Mhm.
leaders, which I spoke about in the master class as well, is very important to know that do not try to sort of hack your way using AI. Like what do I mean is, आपका अगर समझो 9 घंटे का काम है, राइट? आप एक कंपनी में काम कर रहे हो, जहाँ पे आपसे यू आर से डूइंग ऑनलाइन सेल्स, और यू आर सेलिंग समथिंग। आपको 9 घंटे में ना 100 चीज़ें बेचनी है, जो भी चीज़ आपकी कंपनी बना रही है, बी इट ऑन
Mhm.
अमेजोन, बी जो भी है, उसको प्रोसेस करना है, राइट? यू हैव टू सेल 100 थिंग्स इन 9 आवर्स ऑफ वर्क,
Mhm.
राइट, और 8 आवर्स ऑफ वर्क। आप बोल रहे हो एआई आ गया ना, तो मैं ये 9 घंटे का काम है ना, 3 घंटे में हो जाता है मेरा।
Mhm.
तो मैं लेट ऑफिस आऊँगा, मैं जल्दी निकल जाऊँगा, बीच में क्रिकेट खेल के आऊँगा, लंच ब्रेक 1.5 घंटे की लूँगा,
Mhm.
पिक्चर भी देख लेंगे,
Mhm.
राइट? इफ यू आर गोइंग टू डू दैट, देन आप क्या कर रहे हो पता है? आप अपना जॉब थमा रहे हो एआई के हाथ में।
Mhm.
यू आर फायरिंग योरसेल्फ एंड पुटिंग एआई इन योर प्लेस।
Mhm.
कल को आपका मालिक स्मार्ट है, समझ जाएगा कि हाँ भाई, दिस पर्सन इज नॉट नीडेड, उसने एआई को बिठा भी दिया इसमें तेरे डेस्क पे।
Mhm.
Now instead of 2 people needed, I can have one person and one AI to do 2 लोगों का जॉब। तो वो बोलेगा कल से तू कर ले अपना, right?
Mhm.
So in that is basically when you are trying to use AI as a hack uh, to be lazy and do things for you, is
Mhm.
where you will be caught in a trap. That is not smart usage of AI. That is also not to be seen as a situation where आप claim कर सकते हो कि हाँ भाई हमने AI सीख लिया, हमारा बहुत भला हो रहा है AI से, हमारी
Mhm.
लाइफ सुधर गई। You are living in a dangerous artificial reality when you do
Mhm.
that, right?
Mhm.
What should you do in that situation, right? Both as leaders and as employees, is आपकी organization की goal क्या है, right? If your organization's goal is you are selling a product X,
Mhm.
okay? आप एक चीज बना रहे हो, बेच रहे हो। अब आप दिन का 100 बेचते हो, 100 बनाते हो या 120 बनाते हो, 100 बेचते हो, ठीक है? Now, across the entire chain of understanding market demand, to designing this so-called product or service, to manufacture, to source material in order, whatever that might be, manufacture it, make the end product, market it, and sell it, and
Mhm.
manage post-sales customer journeys, escalations and repeat purchases and all of that. आपको देखना चाहिए कि हाउ कैन एआई, हर चीज़ पे एक मेट्रिक है, ठीक है? हाउ कैन एआई help influence the metrics across the channel?
Mhm.
नंबर वन, मार्केट रिसर्च एआई से हम 6 महीने में एक बार मार्केट रिसर्च रिपोर्ट ले आते हैं, हफ्ते में एक बार कैसे ला सकते हैं, ठीक है?
Mhm.
विच विल मेक माई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एक्सट्रीमली अनबिलीवेबली अजाइल। नंबर टू, अगर हमारे पास 2 ही सप्लायर हैं, ठीक है, बट नाउ दैट आई हैव एक्सेस टू दिस काइंड ऑफ अ डेटाबेस और दिस काइंड ऑफ इंटेलिजेंस,
Mhm.
हम कैसे 200 सप्लायर्स की लिस्ट बना सकते हैं, या फिर रियल टाइम में फिर प्राइसेस नेगोशिएट कर सकते हैं, या ग्लोबल सोर्सिंग कर सकते हैं, राइट? नाउ you will be able to understand those things.
Mhm.
Then comes your manufacturing part, right? Inventory storage, right? All those are more very mathematical things. And
Mhm.
then comes marketing, right? Who are you reaching out to, right? What is trending, क्या बातें बताएंगे उनको, what is the audience, what is the competition doing, etc., etc. At the same time, then managing post sales, you know
Mhm.
to understand. तो ये यूज करके अगर 9 घंटा काम करने वाला इंसान 9 ही घंटे काम कर रहा है, ही इज नॉट बिट्रेइंग दैट रोल ऑफ हिज एंड
Mhm.
सेइंग कि मैं 100 बेचता था ना, इंस्टेड ऑफ 100 आई विल सेल 100,000 नाउ, क्योंकि
Mhm.
अपॉर्चुनिटी तो कंस्ट्रेंट कहीं और है।
Mhm.
अगर मैं 100,000 बेच पा रहा हूँ और सप्लाई नहीं हो पा रहा, तो आप सप्लाई वाले को बोलो कि भाई तेरा ये कैसे भला कर सकता है, यू फिगर दैट आउट,
Mhm.
or let's figure that out for you. And that is how and a kind of AI centric organization culture needs to kind of sink in, as compared to you trying to sort of replace you with AI, which
Mhm.
it will anyway, right? You
Mhm.
trying to sort of taking a half day at work just because आपका 9 घंटे का काम 4 घंटे में हो रहा है, that is the biggest red flag. Don't think of it as victory कि मैंने क्लाउड के पैसे भर दिए $20 a month, उसके वजह से my 5 day work week has become extremely chill. I play pickleball every day. You should be most afraid of most scared.
Mhm.
Your job is already half आप अपने दे दिया है AI को,
Mhm.
है ना? At the end of the day, the only way to look at things for you to be able to survive in a post AI world is What is the end goal of the organization? How does AI affect that end goal?
Mhm.
How can I make it affect that end goal? Can it affect that end goal? The answer is definite yes. It can never be no.
Mhm.
How do we use it to affect that end goal? So the way to approach it as well is not have an AI department which says that हाँ सबको एक AI का लाइसेंस दे दिया, सब लोग यूज करें, सब खुश हैं, किसी
Mhm.
का मेल 100 में नहीं जा रहा है, सब मेल्स रिप्लाई हो जाते हैं.
Mhm.
That's not, that is a failure,
Mhm.
right? You should be very true to your organization's metric कि कितने products बेचे या फिर कितने cost पे बेचा,
Mhm.
right? या जो भी आपके metrics है ना, so long as if you're able to be true to that, and if you're able to show a connection between implementing AI as a cross-functional, I would say change management philosophy,
Mhm.
affecting that end metric, then you will still survive.
Okay, so instead
That's
of
how I would approach
हैंडिंग ओवर आपका खुद का रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू एआई व्हिच सीम्स टू बी हैपनिंग अ लॉट कि हमारा जॉब काफ़ी ईजी हो
yeah,
गया है. नाउ एवरीथिंग कैन बी डन विद एआई. Probably we are secretly handing over our persona या फिर हमारी ability to do things to AI. And possibly if in the
hmm.
future smarter models are definitely going to be coming, then what will you
Yeah,
be left with? Like that 4 hour ka
exactly.
work will be reducing to 1 hour, and ultimately the owner is going to get to know, your seniors are going to get to
Yeah,
know that you need
yeah,
not spend so much of money in a resource who
yeah,
is just doing that AI
yeah.
all over.
Yes, and one more thing is you will be out in the market, or आपने you haven't really learned much about AI. You just learned it to sort of simplify your life for that 2 3 hours, and just using it for that use case. So when you have to go ahead and talk about AI or talk about using it to do smarter things, you will not be in a position to do.
Mhm.
आपने इसको ठीक से सीखा ही नहीं है, है ना? So for students and for people in whatever stage of their career, uh, please learn more about AI. Okay, please understand. Okay, there is enough and more content everywhere. Try to
Mhm.
get your hands dirty on it. Right, do not stay away from it. Don't be shy at all. Right, if you have to pay a monthly subscription and get a tool because it will do a lot of work for you, please do that. All right, and for students uh, who think that uh, you know um, their assignments have become easier because of this, please note that in a world where everybody is using AI, okay, and wherever I teach, right, I ask people to bring the prompt as well with me.
Mhm.
I will the and I make sure that the institute, I communicate to the institute as well कि prompt पे marking होगी.
Mhm.
Because if you don't know how to drive the car properly, all right,
Mhm.
and you still are saying that this is a beautiful car, it doesn't make anything mean anything to me. आपने थोड़ी बनाई है plot, है ना?
Mhm.
So for me it is, output is great, all
Mhm.
right. If output itself is off, then you know what, then it's a serious red flag. But then what is the prompt you have used? How have you understood the assignment or the question given to you? How are you interpreting that to your new colleague, which is the AI model? And how are you critically evaluating the output? How are you iterating on it and improving it? ये leadership ही तो
Mhm.
है ना? So if you're able to do it, use it smartly and up level your output. है ना?
Mhm.
Once again, same thing stands true for students as what stands true for professionals as well कि 10 घंटे का काम अगर आप 1 घंटे में कर रहे हो और सेम आउटपुट ले आ रहे हो तो then fail है. Then
Mhm.
then AI is going to eat your position in the world,
Mhm.
right? But आप 10 ही घंटे काम करोगे, but you will be smart about it. But whatever is the output, आप उसका 100x better output दे सकते हो,
Mhm.
है ना? That is what I'm looking for. Those are leaders who survive.
Which probably is the demand of the market right now. Otherwise, 1, 2, 3 years down the line, given that every month or every week we have new models coming with new capabilities, if we don't
Yeah,
have that unique factor that makes us different from what that set of tasks
correct.
is, then it is highly replaceable,
Yeah.
which is a risky bet.
Yep.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. So next, we have to be honest towards it, and we have to look at it from a long-term point of view. That hey, you know what? How can I how can I get technology to empower me as compared to how can I get technology to sort of do things for me while I remain even more lazier.
Mhm. Okay, okay. I think that's a very powerful insight. And Anant, You've been a part of a very special leadership program by one of the biggest companies, that is Reliance, in which you
Yeah,
were a part of selecting or choosing the next gen leaders. If you could throw some light on what all did it involve, and what was the criteria, or how would you identify a person as a leader? What are the key traits that you think a leader has, and how can one develop them?
got it. See, from a leadership perspective, all right, and when I mentor young leaders as well, um there are a few, and there are 100 ways to get it right. All right,
Mhm,
what I would say is most important is be very curious. All right,
mhm,
because curiosity helps. You will get to know things which you are not sure कि uh, curiosity से क्या होता है, right? You end up going to meetings and rooms and all that where you are not necessarily supposed to be there. कि मतलब
mhm,
ये अपना काम नहीं है तो अपन नहीं करते हैं. ये कभी लीडर नहीं बनेगा इंसान, right? So but if you're curious, you will spend time understanding कि भाई ये क्या कर रहा है, वो क्या कर रहा है, और क्या हो रहा है, right? Then you are totally tuned into the the end goal of the organization.
mhm,
Then you are ready to sort of understand the big picture. जो big picture समझता है वही big picture करा सकता है, right? So be curious, number one. Be humble, all
mhm,
right? Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of unknowns out there.
mhm,
You think the way that you interpret this picture from where you stand is the right thing. ये देख लिया मैंने पिक्चर, ये एक this is picture of a jungle and a lion standing in it. I know this is the वही दिख रहा है, यही है, और क्या हो सकता है, मगर सामने वाले को उसके एंगल से कुछ और दिख रहा है, right? So humility solves for one thing. uh, it helps you understand, or it helps you factor for things which you might not know but might be true. राइट, अगर आप अपने इस पे अड़े रहोगे कि यार मेरी सच्चाई है बस, मुझे पता है, भाई किसी को कुछ नहीं पता है, तुम वैसा करोगे
mhm,
जैसे मैं बोलूंगा, योर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन विल नॉट स्टे फॉर टू लॉन्ग, इवन इफ यूर अ वेरी अल्फा प्रो लीडर, राइट? सो हम ह्यूमिलिटी से क्या पता चलता है कि यार उसको भी चार चीज़ें पता है, ठीक है, बट आई एट द सेम टाइम हियर ही वर्क्स फॉर मी, सो आई नो मैं ही उसको काम दूंगा, दैट पर्सन हैज टू डिलीवर ऑन व्हाट आई हैव टोल्ड हिम. बट देन एट द सेम टाइम तरीके चार हो सकते हैं, बिकॉज day by day things are changing, right? I did the same job maybe 5 years ago when I was in his position, but then things have changed right now. He can't do it the same way, and I cannot also, I shouldn't be claiming कि यार ये की तरीका है और कुछ नहीं है, सिंपल सा तो काम है, हमने भी किया है, आप भी करो. Can't be like that, right? If I'm humble, I'll be like, यार क्यों नहीं हो पा रहा तुमसे, या फिर तुम how are you able to do it so well, right? आप 4 दिन का काम 2 दिन में कैसे कर लेते हो? Then I'll be able to understand कि हाँ यार, मतलब the world has evolved, right? AI आ गया है अभी, या फिर कुछ और तरीका यूज़ किया इसने, right? या फिर there are other ways of doing things, या फिर the constraints which were there when I was doing that role no longer exist, right?
mhm,
Except or things have become more difficult, then again you'll understand कि यार which way has the line shifted.
mhm,
So curiosity is important, humility is important, and at the same time, uh, you know, be ready to have the, I would say, be brave enough to sort of hold on to your decisions,
mhm,
right? When you kind of take a decision and say कि हाँ ऐसे ही करेंगे, hold on to it, all right?
mhm,
Uh, don't double doubt yourself, because that is a real cause of failure. Now think about like MS धोनी ने एक तरीके से फील्ड लगाई हुई है, ठीक है,
mhm,
अब there are 100 ways in which he can assemble the field, right? बट समझो यही बॉल है, लास्ट बॉल है, ठीक है,
mhm,
इस पे या तो छक्का है तो हम हार गए, या तो छक्का नहीं है और कुछ भी है तो हम जीत गए. दैट काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन में इफ ही डाउट्स हिमसेल्फ, देन नथिंग इज गोइंग टू हैपन, है ना? तो आपने एक बार डिसीजन ले लिया, तो जब बॉल प्ले में है और once you've taken decision and your organization is starting to function, at that time do not doubt yourself and start micromanaging.
mhm,
तो एक बार फील्ड सेट कर दिया तो गेम चलने दो. व्हेन अगर नहीं चल रहा है तो वी वंस अगेन द ह्यूमिलिटी विल कम इनटू प्लेस कि हाँ यार मेरी गलती है, शायद ये चार चीज़ों में पता नहीं था, आप यहाँ आ जाओ, आप यहाँ चले जाओ, राइट? ऐसे ऐसे करेंगे. देन द टीम ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड्स कि ही इज एबल टू एडमिट हिज मिस्टेक्स
mhm,
एंड और व्हाट ही डिड नॉट नो, और मेरे पास सजेशन है तो मैं भी दूंगा, वो मुझे सेफ लगता है
mhm,
कि दिस गाइज एबल टू एक्सेप्ट इट. एट द सेम टाइम ही इज अ टास्क मास्टर. इसको यू कैनॉट, जस्ट बिकॉज ही इज पोलाइट डजंट मीन यू कैन गेट अवे by not working in front of him, मुझे पकड़ ही सकता है, right? So you have to have very clear guardrails in terms of output, ways of working, um, at the same time your deliveries. But you need to be able to be humble enough. So your unknowns are something you are able to accommodate. You need to
Mm.
be able to be curious so that, you know, once again, things which are outside of your purview today but might be important for you tomorrow are something you are highlighted about today itself. Curiosity solves for that. And at the same time, trust yourself. All right, because if you don't trust yourself, the organization, the market, your clients, nobody will trust you.
So, Anand, as you highlighted, that humbleness, humility is a key part of becoming a good leader. Problem is what often happens is in real life, ki if somebody is, let's say, humble, yeah, if a leader is giving some, let's say, leniency to the team members, then often some limits get breached, या फिर they're not able to convey with that level of strength because मैं already काफी humble हो चुका हूँ, या I've always been polite. Now it has become very difficult for me to now flip the side in case the work is not done. So how does somebody handle this type of situation in which हमने हमेशा, let us say, team को humbly we have taken everything and all, but at the time when strictness is required, you're not able to do that or convey
Yeah.
that in a proper manner. The leader feels
Yeah.
uncomfortable. So how can
Yeah.
somebody overcome this?
See, there is a difference between humility and shyness and weakness, right?
Hmm.
Humility at the end of the day means you treat people fairly. There is an element of respect. You will not be like you know uh, you will get killed if this doesn't happen. You do it my way and all of that. You make people feel safe. That is humility.
Hmm.
राइट मगर अगर डिलीवरी नहीं हो रहा है या लोग स्लैक कर रहे हैं तो यू हैव टू बी हार्श ऑन देम यू हैव टू बी रिमाइंडिंग देम ऑफ द रियलिटी राइट that say you can't do this from tomorrow or you will be taken off this task because you have broken my trust of me giving you the responsibility and kind of hoping and trusting that you will do it. So the cost of breaching trust or the cost of stepping upon my humility has to be there, right? Otherwise अगर cost नहीं है तो people should be will do every day. What is the maximum cost? You fire somebody, right? So
Hmm.
I'm saying humility is one thing. Never be shy, right? If someone's not doing something properly, be ready to sell it to their face. कि this is what was expected from you, and you haven't been able to deliver. This is what I thought आप करोगे. ये तो मैंने बात भी करी थी. आप नहीं कर रहे हो. अगर एक और दिन ऐसा होगा तो be ready to take the decision. You will
Hmm.
not do this one tomorrow. Do something else. Or there isn't anything for you. There's no need to come anymore, right? So
Hmm.
a leader has to put his or her foot because आप उस आदमी से दुश्मनी नहीं कर रहे हो.
Hmm.
आपका एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल डिलीवरेबल है, राइट? लेट्स से एंड अगेन टीम स्पोर्ट एनालॉजी, यू हैव टू विन द गेम. मगर अगर एक बंदा सच में स्लैक कर रहा है, ही इज नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इन विनिंग, राइट? ही थिंक्स खड़े खड़े हो जाएगा, बाकी 10 लोग जिता देंगे अपने को. दैट पर्सन शुडंट बी देयर ना, rightfully not his place anymore. So you need to be very clear on that goal is not being met. You're doing disservice to the chair you're sitting on, so please, I'll replace you with the right guy, right?
Hmm.
That is one. At the same time, so when I'm not able to, I'm being humble, but I'm not pulling up my team when things are going south, or I'm not being मैं ये सब सोच रहा हूँ कि यार ऐसे फीडबैक दूंगा टीम में तो मतलब आज पूरा ही बेकार काम किया है, मगर मैं फीडबैक अच्छा नहीं दूंगा बिकॉज इन लोग मेरे बारे में क्या सोचेंगे ना. दैट इज वीकनेस.
Hmm.
वीकनेस नहीं होना चाहिए. ह्यूमिलिटी हैज टू बी रिस्पेक्टेड एंड इट शुड बी सीन एज अ वे कि यार इफ दिस पर्सन इज हम्बल, ये मैंने एज एन एम्प्लॉई मेरे लीडर की ह्यूमिलिटी अर्न करी है.
Hmm.
ये रोज ऐसा नहीं होता. या फिर आई नो व्हेन ही इज harsh does not mean he's shouting and throwing things around, but harsh means he can take harsh decisions which can affect my peace of life.
Hmm.
All right, and position and respect and trust in this organization. तो
Hmm.
इसकी ह्यूमिलिटी को सस्ते में मत लो. इसकी ह्यूमिलिटी हमने अर्न करी है, या बाय डिफॉल्ट ह्यूमिलिटी से स्टार्ट करता है,
Hmm.
मगर इसको ब्रीच आप कर दो ना इसका. इट्स लाइक you trust and you have a lot of respect towards the parents or elders in your house, right? And you will do whatever it takes to make sure that is not
Hmm.
breached, right? So it's
Hmm.
like that. अगर सामने वाले को पता नहीं है, उस बात का फियर होना चाहिए कि भाई ये ब्रीच हो गया तो everything is lost. It cannot never be earned back. And
Hmm.
maybe मेरे ऊपर there will be a lot of professional I would say consequences.
Mhm.
which can go as bad as me not being able to work here again,
Mhm.
right? So a leader is able to build that entire um, I would say set of things कि humility है, but it is an earned humility, ठीक है? And it is not weakness, it is not shyness. The leader is somebody who knows everything, who knows you. He knows what is expected out of you, ठीक है? But he will not come and drill it into your head. He expects you to do it.
Mhm.
आप नहीं करोगे तो उसके consequences बहुत ही बुरे हैं. Then don't expect the world to be ignoring what you're doing and all of that. So once that is set, उसका precedent set हो जाता है, then you kind of understand कि हाँ मतलब this is the leadership maturity of that person should not be taken lightly.
Mhm. Okay, okay. I think that's a very powerful insight, a very essential ingredient of becoming a strong and a good leader. Ananth, I would like to uh, ask you about your mentoring and your teaching journey, because since you have taught, you are currently training at the topmost institutes of India. What
Yeah.
drove you to this area, this domain? Because you are already into corporate, not a lot of people, would want to do this. What brings you to teaching or training or mentoring? What does it give you?
Yeah. So, see, Prince, I come from a family of academics. Both my parents have been into teaching. So I have a lot of respect for, someone who kind of imparts knowledge. But then, in my current situation, um, as a leader, right, even before I started teaching at all of these B schools and stuff, I was always looking at ways to be able to give back what I have uh,
Mhm.
understood, what I have learned, what I have, both in terms of, say, angel investments, or be it in terms of mentoring a startup, or be it in terms of giving back in terms of a teaching assignment to a B school. So the idea has always come from the sense of being able to give back. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think I can help these bunch of people, right? So that excites me a lot.
Mhm.
Right, in any situation, all right, in any situation, uh, you know. So that is what has drawn me towards teaching and teaching and mentoring, right? So I do mentor startups. I mentor way more startups than I invest in. I also, I would say the teaching thing is kind of kept on growing, teaching master classes and even discussions like what we are having today. Uh, for me, it comes, like I said, from a point of view of giving. All right, that hey, I have something maybe to share, with zero expectation of what I get out of this, uh, and how it has shaped me over time is that, as a leader, again, right, it has tuned me in a different way. All right, so now
Mhm.
when I'm teaching something like, say, for example, go to market strategy to a class of about 50 students, right? Now they are hearing it for the first time, and they will all end up becoming good marketing professionals, and hold, say, important positions in key organizations. Whatever is their understanding of marketing, their foundation understanding will come from me in the next 2 hours, 4 hours, or in the
Mhm.
next, say, two, three, four sessions, right? Now I consider that as a very rare and unique responsibility, which I take with a whole lot of humility and respect.
Mhm.
So I have only one chance to get it right for these people, right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's always the first impression, right? For them to be able, if I teach things in a completely wrong way, then for them to be able to correct themselves will take a few years and two or three bad professional experiences, right? Which will
Mhm.
cost them something professionally.
Mhm.
So that awareness, or that so I take care of that part when I teach, right? I'm extra careful, even more careful than going into a meeting where I brief my team about a new project at work.
Mhm.
So that added responsibility has been able to bring an extra element of leadership, that hey, how are you able to you know um, bring together a bunch of people, build consensus, impart something they don't know, right? And then get them to deliver an output in terms of an assignment or something like that,
Mhm.
in a completely unknown topic. All right, and they're 100% going by what you have taught, or what you have given to them in terms of text and material. So
Mhm.
that for me is an important responsibility, which I respect a lot in whatever situation be it, right?
Mhm.
And that has over time been able to sort of um, I would say, transform or crystallize that part of leadership in me,
Hmm.
in dealing with subordinates, or a young bunch of team.
Hmm.
That, hey, you know what, my role here is super important, and I have only one chance. If I
Hmm.
get it wrong, or if I am incorrect, or if I haven't factored something, uh, you know, and think that I know everything and just go ahead and talk, then I can't forgive myself if things go wrong. It's all
Hmm.
on me. So that is something which is an after learning for me as well from teaching assignments, which has kind of shaped my style of leadership significantly.
Hmm. I think that's a very unique way of looking at mentoring and teaching. The kind of weight it holds, because you'll be facing shaping the future generation basis whatever
Yeah,
insights you're giving the sessions. Uh,
yeah,
Towards the end of the episode, Anand, I would like to get your perspective on how can somebody be successful in the long run in their lives, how
yeah,
to keep themselves motivated, given that there are so much things happening, like
yeah,
geopolitically, technically we have artificial intelligence coming, and
yeah,
job market becoming more and more competitive. Population is a big challenge in India, because of which
yeah,
opportunities get divided amongst a very huge chunk of
yeah,
people. So, what would you suggest to somebody towards the end? How can they
yeah.
first of all be successful, and how to sustain that success if they get it?
Yeah, that's a lot of questions in one question. Thanks for that,
Mhm.
Prince. But see, it's what you've given me a very broad, outlay. The answer is more, how do you? The answer is not what to do, what not to do. The answer is, what attitude would you approach life with, right? As you go through, very interesting times. I will not say negative, uncertain, nothing. It's interesting times you go through. Number one, the glass is always half full.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. If there's a glass half full of water, and if you are thirsty, right, you don't argue saying the glass is not fully full. You drink the water which is there in the glass.
Mhm.
It's always be an optimist. I'll always be an optimist. Okay, so there are a lot of industries I can't go. Right, you need to be very, too much of a questioning chap to be in many places. I have that predicament. I can't go to those industries. So always be an optimist. Always glass is half full. All right, number one. Number two, be very curious. All right, as to what is happening. Right, for any student or early stage professional, do not the crisis in the Middle East or AI coming to your doorstep are not things which are not going to affect you. Right? Don't live in that. Don't live in your small little bubble. Right. So understand. In a way that you should be able to explain it to somebody who asks it from you. Okay. Understand. Don't get obsessed by things, but understand it. Right. And at the same time, do not get fixated on one thing. Right. If you're doing a specific job, if you're doing it well, uh, be ready to accept the fact that if things completely change tomorrow, just like you have kind of ramped yourself up from zero to where you are in the current role, you will be ready to do it again tomorrow. All right. So be ready for changes, expected or unexpected, to come your way, which is what So being curious kind of solves for that in a way, right? So again, right, glass is always full, half full, never half empty. Be curious, all right. Be ready for anything expected or unexpected coming your way, and live in the moment. Don't plan for the next decade or so. All right. Like I said at the start, absolute start. So long as the next two steps are clear for you, अगले दो कदमों में आप अगर खाई नहीं है तो चलते रहो. Right. We will eventually kind of be in a good place. There is a cost of standing in the same place and not moving. You are not being smart by doing that. So move. You don't have to move only when you're able to see the next 5 kilometers of path. आगे दो कदम दिख रहे हैं, आप चलते रहो.
Even if it is going to be, let's say, wrong, at least you will have some learning that okay, now I need to change the direction, versus you just standing at one place
हाँ,
and not.
तो आपने कुछ तो सीखा ना, इस तरफ जा रहा हूँ, इस तरफ दीवार है, वहां से आप वापस आओगे. You have all the time in the world. These are all young leaders and students we are talking to. But एक ही जगह पे खड़े हो गए, आपने क्या पाया? कुछ नहीं है.
Exactly.
टाइम निकल गया है. You lost one variable, है ना? So that is how I look at it.
Okay, I think the kind of variety of insights that you have shared, and were really power packed. I would say thank you so much for being a guest on Zero Filter. It was really nice speaking
Thank
with
you.
you, and especially with the interesting perspectives you have brought around AI, startups, mentoring, and all. It was really great speaking with you. Thank you so much for the value addition, and I'm looking forward to having probably more such conversations with you around different topics.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good conversation, Prince. Thanks for having me. And I think, we're able to help or add value to whoever is kind of going to tune into this.
Mhm. Okay, okay. Thanks. Thanks.